This is an analogy and foreshadowing. I'm trying to tell you that this is a warm-up game for the Canes by me warming up and stretching, you know? You get it? No? Whatever.
Take it back. And go.
Before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys that I have some new Miami themed shirts on the merch store, and you can check them out by clicking the top link down in my description. I really think that this is some of the most unique Canes game day gear on the market. You're gonna love them. What's going on, Canes fans? Man, it feels good to be filming the week 2 preview video knowing that we are 1-0 because some fan bases don't have that luxury after week 1. Now, before we dive into this preview, I do have a couple of brief announcements. I made it known that I'm going to be bringing on a special celebrity guest picker for every single one of these preview videos. And last week was former Miami Hurricanes quarterback Malik Rozier. And I do in fact have a celebrity guest picker for today's preview video. So you're going to want to make sure you watch this all the way to the very end to find out who it is. Second, a winner has been selected from last week's preview video to win a free t-shirt from the Coach Coop merch store. And the winner is Chris Kane for life. I'm going to pop up his comment right here on the screen. My man, congratulations. I have personally replied to your comment, and we're going to set up and get your information so we can get that free t-shirt out to you. If you want to win a free t-shirt, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment on this video, because we're giving away free t-shirts on every single preview video this season. And just make sure that you don't get scammed. I've seen a lot of people try to go in and pretend to be Coop and leave comments and get your information. I will personally reply from my Coach Coop YouTube account. And a way that you can know for sure that it's me is at the end of the message, I will plug in the Miami foam hands, kind of like you see that I did on Chris's comment here, because that is a Canes fan member only emote, which means the bots and the scammers won't have access to it. So congratulations once again to Chris on the free t-shirt. And lastly, no one predicted the correct score for the Miami versus Bethune-Cookman game. So that's right. The $500 score prediction contest is still active and carries over to the Southern Miss game. So all you need to do is jump into my live stream this Friday night, call into the show, give your official score prediction, and if you get it right, you win $500. And it is in fact possible because somebody won it last year. So week 2 is already here, and the 1-0 Miami Hurricanes are taking on the 0-1 Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Kickoff is at noon, and this game will be at Hard Rock Stadium on ACC Network. So yes, once again, I will have links on game day if you don't have ACC Network to watch the game for free. All you need to do, stop in during the game, my Saturday stream, I will hook you up. So let's take just a minute and talk about Southern Miss. Now, if you missed their game last week, it actually went to 4 overtimes where they lost to Liberty 29-27. I'm just going to come right out and be blunt here and say what everyone else is thinking, but maybe they just don't want to say. This team is a one-man show. Running back Frank Gore Jr. carries this team, but there's one huge issue. He's only one man. If he could maybe be cloned, you know, if that was a thing, and he could play every position on the field at the same time, then I might be a little bit worried about this game. When looking at the stats from their first game, the other 2 running backs both fumbled once, and the quarterback threw 3 picks. So that's right, 5 total turnovers against Liberty.
That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
Southern Miss is a Conference USA team that has won a grand total of 6 games. Yes, 6 games over the last 2 seasons. So here's the deal. Overall, this is just not a very good football team. However, this will be a very personal game for Frank Gore Jr. for reasons that I don't even need to mention because you already know. But the reality of the situation is he's only one man. He can't pass himself the ball while catching his own pass while also blocking for himself. He can only do so much. And it will also be interesting to see if the true freshman quarterback Ty Keys comes back for the Miami game, because he was actually knocked out in the Liberty game. So we'll see if he comes in and makes the start this week. But let's speak on the Canes for just a moment, because even though last week we won 70-13, it was certainly not perfect for us. There's a lot of things that we need to work on, and this is actually the perfect game and opportunity to iron out some of those kinks before we travel to College Station week 3. It's going to be very interesting to see how well we contain or do not contain Gore in this game. And I realize that I sound like a broken record, but he's going to be running hard in this one. And hopefully our running back Jalen Knighton, aka Rooster, will be ready to rock and will get some reps in this game after sitting against Bethune-Cookman as kind of just a precaution due to a soft tissue injury, because I would love for him to get some reps leading into the Texas A&M game, because I think he's going to be a very important factor in that game. And this will also be an opportunity for Tyler Van Dyke to pad his stats a little bit if he wants to stay in that Heisman race. And I understand that what's more important to him is to get the wins, not individual stats and achievements, but it is something, of course, that is out there and being talked about. And he only got to throw 16 passes last week. We'll see if that's any different for this game. And if we want to take a look at some brief history between these two teams, I mean, you can go looking and digging if you want, but there is no history between these two squads. This is actually going to be the first time in program history for both of these teams that they've faced off on the battlefield. So with that being said, let's take a quick look at the average stats for both of these teams so far this season. But just keep in mind that they've both only played one game. So this is basically just the raw stats from their week 1 game. So there's not really necessarily an average, so to say, but that will be the case as we progress throughout the season. So I'm going to put a little graphic image up on the screen here so you can follow along. So from week 1, Southern Miss scored 27 points. Miami scored 70. Points allowed, Southern Miss coming in at 29. Miami at a pretty respectable 13, but there's, of course, still some fans, myself included, that are a little upset because that was an FCS opponent and it was points not scored in garbage time, which is a little bit concerning. Yards racked up, week 1, Southern Miss coming in at 389, Miami 586, and yards allowed against them, week 1, Southern Miss coming in at a whopping 447, and Miami at a not so respectable 342. And what does scare me a bit is that 342 allowed by Miami. Like I just said, hopefully the defense tightens up this week. And now transitioning over to 3 keys to a victory for both of these teams this weekend. And just keep in mind that there are multiple keys to a victory, multiple things that must happen to win the game. But these are just 3 that stand out to me personally that I feel like are a pretty big deal. So let's kick it off with Miami. Coming in at number 1, more pressure and sacks on the quarterback. We only had 2 sacks last week, and honestly, I was expecting at least 4 to 6. So let's see closer to that number against Southern Miss. At number 2, I need to see better linebacker play all around, especially in coverage. All things considered, it was not up to standard against Bethune. And it's not just the fans that are saying that. Mario and the rest of the staff saw that as well. And lastly, this really kind of goes without saying, but limit the big explosive runs by Gore. We gave up some chunk yardage plays last week, and Gore is fast and looking to take it to the house every play. We must contain that dude. And now moving on to 3 keys to a victory for the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Kicking it off at number 1, find a way to get wide receiver Jason Brownlee more involved. Your 6'3" receiver only caught 1 pass for 35 yards last week. He's big, physical, and he's a receiver that could create some issues potentially with our secondary. And Canes fans don't want to hear that, but hey, I'm just keeping it real. Number 2 is definitely better ball security. It's tough to win a game with 5 turnovers, and Miami will most likely turn those into points. And lastly, you have a few more days to build a cloning machine so you can have Frank Gore Jr. play at every position at the same time. You still have time to make this happen. But now, it's finally time, the moment you've all been waiting for, my special celebrity guest picker and both of our score predictions and picks for this game. But all the OGs in here know, hold up, they all know that we can't transition to that part of the video until we mention the completely pointless, doesn't mean a thing, ESPN matchup predictor. They have the Canes win percentage chance coming into this one at a whopping 96.3% and Southern Miss at 3.7%. And I do believe at the time of filming this video, Miami is a 26-point favorite and the over-under comes in at 57 points. So do what you wish with that information. But now with that out of the way, my special celebrity guest picker, let's do this. Introducing the most die-hard, ride-or-die, bleeds orange and green Canes fan that I know, Daniel! Come on, y'all. Give it up for Daniel, also known as Danny Boy Kane, possibly, or maybe you've seen him by DBC. He is a man of many names, but there's no denying his love for the Miami Hurricanes. Daniel, what's up with you tonight, man?
Good evening, Coop. Good evening, Coach.
You feeling good tonight?
Feeling good. Feeling very good.
Heck yeah, I know we're getting ready for the Clemson-Georgia Tech game is about to kick off. If people don't know, we're recording this on Labor Day, so pretty hyped and excited to see that. And what I want to do tonight, Daniel, is you are the special guest picker for this preview video. And I'd kind of like to just talk Miami with you for a moment, and then we'll give you an opportunity to plug some stuff, and then we'll both give our score prediction for the game. So I wanted to get your opinion right quick on your initial impression of Miami kicking off the Mario Cristobal era. So week one, 70-13, there's not a whole lot of complaints. Some people were complaining about the linebacker group and the defense as a whole with the slow start. But overall, were you impressed with Mario's debut here at Miami?
I definitely was. Let me tell you the reason why I was very impressed. Did you notice Cam Kitchen's interception?
I did, when he spiked the ball. Yeah.
Yes. And did you know after he got the 15-yard penalty, Mario Cristobal went to the sidelines. He didn't chew out just Kitchens. If you noticed, he chewed out the whole defense.
He did.
Did you notice that?
Yep, I sure did.
I'll tell you this. That told me right there that things were going to be run a ton differently than what you've seen in many years. Since it's all the coaches we have, since Coker in 06, Randy, Al, not so much Rick, but Manning. But my goodness, you could see a total night and day difference inside Greentree.
Yeah,
and on that sideline.
I loved you could see all the players started gathering around and everyone was listening. And if you notice, a lot of those guys are making direct eye contact with Mario the entire time as well, which I feel like is huge. They really respect him as a leader.
Mm-hmm. Especially the chewing out process when Mario chews him out.
Exactly. I wouldn't want Mario chewing me out. Listen.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Woo! So I also wanted to ask you, there's a lot of loaded, really cool games coming up this year. I mean, we've got Texas A&M at College Station. We play in Death Valley against Clemson. But if you had to pick one game this year, what would be the one that you are most looking forward to?
I'm definitely, I've said it, Coop, many times. I've said the A&M game, September 17th, is going to tell me how the season really goes.
Yeah.
If we beat A&M on the road, I have no doubt in my mind we will go to Clemson 10-0. Because look at our schedule after that. Middle Tennessee, a bye week, then start ACC play. Carolina at Virginia Tech, Duke at Virginia, FSU, and at Georgia Tech. Do you see anybody on that schedule after A&M that we won't be heavily favored against?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like in 2022, I've said this a lot, but I feel like the only team standing in our way, if anybody, would be us. It would be us not taking control of the driver's seat and controlling our own destiny. Because even though it's tough to judge after just 1 or 2 weeks of games, it's very apparent already that the Coastal is just going to be all over the place, in my opinion. So it's going to be one of those really wonky, weird years in college football, I feel like.
And I gotta think I gotta think right now we're the heavy favorites to win that division.
I think so too. I can actually agree with you 100%. Again, we don't know how what we might be saying 6-7 weeks from now. Who knows?
Yeah,
But early on in the season, definitely.
Definitely a long way to go on that.
So I want to give you an opportunity here, Daniel, to plug some of your stuff before we get into talking about Southern Miss for just a moment. So if you guys don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, but I did a little bit of research on your YouTube channel, and I don't know if you've always covered the Canes on it, but you've been on YouTube for like 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So
I just recently started doing. I've done YouTube previews for a while, but hadn't done it in several years. So before 2017 or 18.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have Anchor, which I do already, which I've done for going on 5 years now. Because I put my podcast on there.
Right, and you've been doing. Excuse me for interrupting, just in case so people know, you've been doing like full previews and breakdowns of the games on there, right?
Yeah,
for the podcast
full preview. Yeah, I do. I just started just in the last 2 years interviewing writers who cover the opposing teams. In fact, I'm going to be doing one on Wednesday with David Eckert.
Okay, that's huge. Because
David Eckert from USA Today South, and he's from the Hattiesburg American, covers Southern Miss. He's on their beat. By the way, Clemson just turned the ball over, just so let you know. But anyway, yeah. And anyway, if you want to, I could do my Twitter. My Twitter handle is a little crazy. It's Daniel44943553.
Okay, and what we'll do, guys, is we're gonna link all this stuff down in the description. So we'll have his podcast link, the YouTube channel, the Twitter account, and he's going to have his Twitter account up above his head as well, so you can see the exact spelling for that.
Yeah,
but definitely give Daniel a follow on those platforms.
I also have Buy Me a Coffee. I just started that this year.
Okay, awesome.
I could give you that. I can give you that offline, and you can put that up later.
We will do it.
I also have a couple more links that I have. I could give that to you offline. You could see those. But yeah, I am doing something different this year. In fact, the one thing, you know what I did last week? I was interviewing Chris Boyle of the Daytona Beach News Journal when we previewed Bethune-Cookman. I did it on Zoom. I forgot to record the thing.
Oh, that always sucks, man. As somebody else who does
I did
YouTube,
not know that. So now I know when I do this, the Zoom call. I'm definitely going to press record because I want it on my podcast.
But now that you said that, I'm double checking to make sure I'm actively recording. Thank goodness we are, so we're good to go. But whew, that sucks, man. All right, so now let's take just a moment and talk about Southern Miss. And I'm just going to be upfront and honest and just ask you this question. Is there anything about Southern Miss that scares you other than Frank Gore Jr.?
Honestly, I was just told, Coop, I was just in a space with David Eckert, who covers them for the Hattiesburg American.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you something. After this game, that's a team that can go on a run. I just hope they don't do it in this game.
Right.
But aside, the only thing that would scare me about Southern Miss is we look maybe ahead to A&M next week.
Right. And
that would be my only concern. That would be my only concern of this game. A, don't get anybody hurt. And B, looking ahead to A&M.
Right.
I don't think Mario is going to let that happen in this game.
Fair.
There's no way. I mean, in the past, we would have maybe Manny. If Manny was still here, we'd be looking ahead. And we'd be playing sloppy, undisciplined, etc. And we'd be committing penalty after penalty.
Right, and that's what for me is so refreshing with this coaching staff. I understand we've only played one game, but I feel like the years of playing, FCS opponents and Sunbelt teams and things, we don't have those cardiac cane moments where we have to come back, march down the field, and win by a field goal, where we just squeak by and escape with the victory. I feel like those days are done, that when it's inferior opponents, that we just take care of business. Fingers crossed, anyways. Don't want to jinx it, right?
I think I want to see against Southern Miss, clean up the mistakes. I want to clean up the backside defense because that was an issue in game one. If you've seen that, I mean, we over pursued at times. I mean, I didn't like the fact that we got caught out of position. I mean, Mario nailed it in the post-game presser. He said, "Hey, we made mistake, and he said it again today. We got to clean up things.
Yep.
We got to clean it up.
And I like that. Not making excuses, taking accountability. I know he even mentioned one of the situations where when we went under center, when we were at like the 1 or 2 yard line.
That was the left hand.
Yep. And he mentioned with the snapper, and he was like, I got to do a better job at coaching. I should not have put them in that situation. And it's been a long time since we've had a coach that would do that and take accountability like he did. So that's huge.
It's been a while. It's been a very long time.
Yep.
We haven't had that really since Butch. Really since
it's
Butch.
so refreshing, finally. And I do feel like it could be a good day for the defense because, I mean, Southern Miss had 5 turnovers in their game against Liberty, 2 fumbles, and 3 picks.
And
so
they
this
lost the heartbreak in overtime.
Yep. So this could be a huge game for the defense, an opportunity, like you said, to clean up some things and prepare for week 3. So with that being said,
yes,
it is time to make our picks for this game. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of the pressure off of you. And I'm going to go ahead and put my pick out there.
All right.
I'm going to give Miami the dub, of course, and actually a pretty big victory at Hard Rock Stadium on Saturday. I got Miami 48, Southern Miss 14, because I do think they find a way to score. I mean, again, Frank Gore Jr. is a freak athlete. The problem here is he's only one man. He can't do everything. So I got 48-14 for my official score prediction. Danny, what about you?
If we don't get caught looking ahead to A&M next week and take care of business, like you said, I think we win this game going away. I think you'll see. I think it could be like last week. We see the starters about maybe a little longer, maybe about 2.5 quarters.
Okay.
Maybe a little, maybe then start maybe by late third. You start pulling the starters out and getting the second and third units in to finish up. I think we win going away as well. I'm going to go the same way. Maybe we put about 55. I'm going to go Canes 55.
Okay.
Southern Miss 17.
55-17. Okay. I think that's a pretty solid prediction.
A little fair.
Yeah, I do think that Southern Miss can score. Again, I mean, I realize Bethune-Cookman put up 13 on us, and it wasn't garbage time points. But I do feel like that this is a better opponent than Bethune, but also we're going to have worked on some things and cleaned up some stuff after that week 1 game. So that's the official predictions, everybody. Daniel, thank you so much for being my celebrity special guest picker for this preview video. Man, you know what we got to hit them with, right? Come on now, give him one of these. Come on, Daniel. Come on, throw one up. Let's see it.
I see it.
Oh, he's holding the phone. Let's see if he can make it happen, y'all.
Okay.
You do what you got to do, man.
Okay, hold on. Let's see.
There we go. Hey, we love it. We love it. Hey.
Hold on. One side. Hold on. There we go.
You're good. There it is.
There we go.
There it is. That's the right way to throw it up right there, guys. Hey, Daniel.
Sure.
Thank you so much for the love, man. Thank you for joining me. And
thank you, man.
Go Canes. Go Canes, man.